Hey ladies and gentlemen, Unit 4 Notes 3 here. We are going to go ahead and look at multiplying monomials part 2. So we did a little bit of this yesterday. We're going to take it a step further and do some more today. So what's the difference between these two problems? This is what we did yesterday. We multiplied the big numbers. So I did 3 times 6, and then I added the little numbers. So I had x to the 3 plus 1, y to the 4 plus 3, z to the 1 plus 5. Okay, and I kind of got that answer down here. Well, today we're going to deal with problems that look like this. And what you're going to notice is there is an exponent on the outside of the parentheses. There's nothing outside of the parentheses here. This exponent is going to tell me how many of this parenthesis I have. So we're going to look at the steps on what that means today. So first things first, if there is a little number outside the parentheses, if you have that exponent outside of the parentheses, not inside, but outside of the parentheses, you want to write everything that's inside the parentheses out, however many times that number is there. Okay, so if it says like to the 4th, then you're going to write out that set of parentheses 4 different times. Then you're going to do exactly what you did yesterday. The operations multiplication, you're going to go ahead and multiply the coefficients and add the exponents. So, super fun fact, something you really need to remember, okay? Keep this in mind, stop, pause, write it on your forehead, whatever you need to do. Anything to the 0 power is equal to 1, okay? It's equal to 1. A lot of times people try to tell me, oh, it equals 0. No, anything to the 0 power equals 1. Keep that in mind. Get a tattoo if you need to, but do not forget it. Here's where we're at. First things you want to look at, is there a little number outside the parentheses? In this situation, there is. That is outside the parentheses, and it is a 2. So what that 2 tells me is I'm going to take this group, what's inside the parentheses, and I'm going to write it out that many times. So I'm going to write it out twice. So I'm going to have 4xy to the 5th, 4xy to the 5th. Okay, I wrote it out 2 different times. Now you're doing exactly what you did yesterday. Multiply the big numbers, add the little numbers. So x to the 1 plus 1 is 2, y to the 5 plus 5 is 10. I am done because my x and my y only show up once. So let's look at this again. This little number outside of the parentheses tells me how many times to write that what's inside the parentheses. So I'm going to write what's inside 4 different times. Okay, hopefully I don't get too crazy with those numbers outside the parentheses because you don't want to be doing all this writing. So now we're going to do exactly what we did yesterday. Multiply the big numbers. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. I have x to the 2, 4, 6, 8. Y to the 3, 6, 9, 12. You might at this point be seeing a pattern. If you are seeing a pattern, awesome. Go ahead and use that pattern. If you are not seeing a pattern at this point, that's A-okay. We are going to go ahead and do what we've been doing this whole time. So I have a 3 on the outside of this parenthesis. That tells me I'm going to write that parenthesis 3 separate times. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. And then I have a 2 on the outside of that parenthesis. So I'm going to write that set of parentheses twice. So now we're going to go ahead and we're just going to do what we've been doing. We're going to multiply the big numbers. So I'm going to do 3 times 3 times 3 times 2 times 2. Make sure you use a calculator with that, you guys. When I did that in my calculator, I got 108. Now we're going to do with our x's. I have 4 plus 4 plus 4. Plus 1 plus 1. So 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 1 plus 1, I got 14. And then you're going to add your y. So 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, I got 10. Let's go ahead. There's a number outside the parentheses. I'm going to write this set of parentheses down 4 different times. Again, if you are starting to see a pattern, do not waste your time by writing all this down. Okay, use that pattern. But if you're not, then don't worry about it. This does not have a number out there. It's an imaginary little 1, so we're just going to keep that the 1 time. And now we're going to do what we've been doing. Multiply the big numbers, and add the little numbers. So I'm going to do 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 3. If I do that, I get 1875. You're going to deal with your x's. So I have 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. I got 16. And then y, I got 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. So I got y to the 10th. All right, number 5 here. If you think back to the notes, a really, really important thing that you needed to remember is anything to the 0 power. So this thing is to the 0 power. That whole thing then disappears and is equal to 1. So what you have is 6x to the 3rd y times 1, which is just going to give me 6x to the 3rd y. Last one here. This first parenthesis does not have a number on the outside, so we are going to go ahead and we are going to just keep that, what we see, 3xy to the 4th. This parenthesis has a 2 on the outside, so I'm going to write it down 2 different times. And we're going to do exactly what we did before, so we're going to multiply the big numbers. So 3 times -2 times -2 is going to give me 12. X to the 1, I don't have any x's on the other parentheses, so we're just going to leave that x. And then y to the 4th plus 1 is going to give me y to the 6th. If you have any questions, come chat with me. Otherwise, good luck on the assignment.